Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sonali, Krishna, and you're watching the Brand Equity Cannes Lions 2014 special. It's been one hell of a hectic week. The sun, the sand, the bikinis, and of course the global outburst of creativity at the Cannes Lions 2014 just never took a break. But don't take my word for it. Take a look for yourself.
This was by far the most physical jury I had ever been on in my entire life.
Brands are finding it very difficult to do.
The model has to change.
Now, one of the clear standouts amongst the eclectic set of personalities here at the Cannes Lions was none other than Joe Pytka, the most influential and celebrated commercial directors of all time. The Cannes Lions this year bestowed the prestigious line of St. Marks to Pytka, honoring and celebrating his outstanding contribution to creativity. His work with Whiten & Kennedy for Nike has been termed as groundbreaking, and he's been called a genius for his IBM work with Steve Hayden. I caught up with the legend himself to get a sense of what he thinks of advertising today and whether the industry is headed in the right direction. Listen in to this refreshingly honest conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Joe Pytka. This is truly an honor and a pleasure to have you on ET Now on Brand Equity.
My pleasure.
I really want to start with, your perspective of where advertising is on the global stage. We've spoken to so many people, and it's all really digital speak, really. Nobody's really talking about the craft anymore. Nobody's talking about good storytelling, although that is the lingo. It's really about the platform. What's your sense, being one of the greatest filmmakers living today, of what's really happening in the world of advertising?
One of my problems with advertising now is the globalization, that because of the ease of communication and research, things are being the same. I love wine. I collect wine. And one of the issues with wine now is that wine is becoming globalized. They're making wine all over the world that tastes the same,
Right.
to satisfy global taste. But now advertisers try to target their advertising for global reach. I've worked on the IBM campaign for a very long time as a global family, and when we did commercials, we made sure that they could be adapted for different markets.
Right.
And I'm not sure that's the right way to go. It compromised our casting. We'd have to say, will this character play in Europe? Will this character play in China? Stuff like that. And I thought it might have been better for them to do a specific commercial for each place,
Right.
instead of globalizing everything.
Joe, you're also looked at as a man who's extremely arrogant, who has extreme
Arrogant?
Yeah, extreme pride in what you do, and knows his craft better than anybody else, and you make no qualms about it. However, increasingly, advertising professionals today seem to be very subservient to the client and don't seem to, claim any authority over their space or their domain, which is advertising.
Right.
Do you think this is an extremely dangerous trend?
You said I was arrogant. I don't know what arrogant means. Getting back to your point, I find it difficult for younger creatives or new creatives to do good work for clients that demand to do bad work. Because if a client demands bad work, he's going to get bad work. And the problem now, agencies have gotten to be big corporations.
Sure.
I lament the fact that agencies used to be entrepreneurial, and you could do what you want. You didn't have to answer to anybody but yourself. Now you have to answer to holding companies, investors, stockholders, things like that. Too many people to answer to.
Right.
And creative people shouldn't answer to too many people. Actually, creative people shouldn't answer to anybody. And that's an impossible situation in advertising. The problem is the commodification of the industry, where the creative people are a commodity.
Sure.
That's horrible.
Joe, do you think, given the fact that now we are so advanced in terms of technology, is that actually translating in the craft of the business?
No, it isn't, and it should be. Technology has improved dramatically in the last few years. The digital technology of cameras and things. The ability to edit properly and see finished work quickly. In the old days, for example, if we did a special effect, it would take 2 or 3 days to see the special effect before it's rendered. They'd do separations from the green screen, put it back together, and then you have to refine it from there. Now, right there, you can look at a big monitor and do it right there. You can take a computer and do a composite on the set, a green screen right there. It's amazing. But with the complete infusion of technology that is readily available to everybody at a reasonable cost, you would expect an avalanche of fabulous work. It doesn't exist. I had a discussion with a friend that was here visiting yesterday. He talked about all this wonderful work on the internet, and I said, like what? He talked about a cat picture, this kind of cat picture. You know what that is? A cat, and everybody's laughing at these cat pictures. A cat's supposed to have a funny face. I said, oh, really? A cat picture? You know, it's like these videos that people put on. Well, that's fine, but we've been doing that forever anyway. It's just that now everybody can see your stupidity.
Is it because it's so easy now?
Might be that, because I maintain when photography was more difficult to endure, you had to have special qualities in the craft to endure. That doesn't exist anymore, because digital, it's all the same, right? And you don't have that kind of skill anymore.
You know, this whole digital speak, everybody's obsessed with it. Nobody really knows how it's going to go.
Nobody knows anything about it.
But yeah, it's something that, you know, everybody's talking about. How do you see it? Do you think this whole digital wave is going to last, or it's just a
Of course
bubble?
it's going to last. It's there.
It's there.
The technology is there, and the potential's there. A huge potential. I mean, we can't deny that. The problem with digital age right now is the attention span is what? 2.5 seconds? Huh? You go click, 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 click. The medium itself, because it's on a computer or an iPhone, doesn't lend itself to really beautiful work, right? A long time ago, you go to the cinema to see a movie like Lawrence of Arabia on a big screen with incredible sound, in a beautiful theater, comfortable seat, with an attentive audience, right? It was an event. And when you saw the camel coming at you, or the sun rise, it was breathtaking and a shared experience. If you look at that on a computer, it's nothing. You can't even see it. It's a little dot coming. So your thinking isn't as big, right? It changes the way you see things. It's broad strokes, nuance is gone. The sound design is gone. Subtleties of music are gone. Sometimes you can't even hear the soundtracks. So the creative possibilities are huge, but there are also huge restrictions in the way you think.
Lovely meeting you, Joe Pytka. Truly a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Joe Pytka there making some truly noteworthy statements. And while you digest that, it's time for a short breather. But you stay right there, as up next we bring you the new global agency Pecking Order. Stay with us.